So welcome, Ryan. Thank you so much for coming along to this conversation and to start to engage in a little bit of coaching with me today. Today's conversation is really just a launch, and I call it the goals and partnership session. So we're going to talk a little bit about what goals you want from coaching, and also how we're going to work together. Is that okay?
That sounds great. Let's go for it.
So I know we were talking about this before, but just to check in with you, like, have you had any coaching before? Have you had any experience of coaching?
Yeah, I don't believe so. I've had lots of mentoring. I've actually done some mentoring as well, around my community. Um, and at work, yeah, so I've been given, we have a mentorship program. I'm with someone, he's been at the company a very long time. Um, and it's asking any questions I can have around the technical side, around career advice, um, and he can sit through with me and he'll go through detailed explanations on what's going on. I've done mentoring, around my area, and that's been again that's just general advice. Any questions I have, I try and help out with. But coaching, no, I've had no coaching
Okay,
so
great.
far.
And thanks for that. And I can hear from what you're saying is like, you're talking a lot about like the advisory element of mentoring. So we'll look at what coaching is that contrasts with that. And if you haven't had any coaching, could you have a stab at a definition? Or did you know how it's either similar or different to coaching? And really don't worry if you don't know at all.
I'm I really don't know. I can see mentoring is, yeah, I guess offering any advice, which I guess coaching is more streamlined. I really don't know. More defined as to what you're trying to get out of it. Whereas mentoring can go off in any angles, really. The things I've been on.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know.
Thank you. Well, and that's really helpful. And I mean, there are similarities between mentoring and coaching, and they're often both the mentor and the coach are there to support and nurture and help the growth and development of whoever it is, whether it's personally or professionally. And mentors often use advice and use recommendations and share tips and tricks and so on. Coaching is quite different. Coaching still will nurture and support someone for development, but it's all about how that person wants to develop. Um, and predominantly, the things that we use are listening and questioning. So we would encourage you to come up with your topics, like a big goal, and then session by session, smaller goals. And then we would have a conversation where you would talk. I'd ask questions, hopefully useful questions that would encourage you to reflect a bit more. And then you go through a conversation, and at the end, you'd come out with actions, and they'd be your actions, your ideas, your growth, your change. So it's very much driven by you. And so it fits really well for certain people at certain times in either in their life or their career or their progress. So, how's that as a definition, like distinguishing coaching and mentoring?
Yeah, sounds great. Sounds good.
And now that you've got a definition, what do you think would appeal to you about having some coaching, knowing that it's not advisory, but it's more self-reflective?
It's more self-reflective. So, I mean, what in terms of what am I trying to get out of coaching, or?
No, we'll talk about that in a minute. More just like the idea of the principle of you're going to turn up in a room with someone who's not going to give you advice, but is going to smile and nod and ask you questions instead.
No, it could be good. Sounds like you're going to get deep into my mind. Can coaching be put like that versus mentoring? Um, yeah. So is that more what it is? It's more self-reflection, what I can take away and go and improve on, um, as opposed to, yeah, this is what you should be doing. You're trying to work out from the goals I give you and speaking to me. Um, what would be best place for me to go away with?
Yeah,
That
basically.
correct?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's like using your knowledge, your understanding, your skills, and maybe, I mean, you say deep into your mind while you're laughing, but maybe it's like the changes you need to make, it might be so it's more belief and attitudinal than if you like technical and skills based.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
All right, okay. So we've got a definition, more or less. Let's now think about your goals. In your in your questionnaire, which is really helpful, you started talking like as an overarching goal here about presence and influence in professional settings. So just let's sort of just enhance that a bit. Say like an overarching goal for you from a few coaching sessions would be what?
Yes. So I guess the overarching goal is so at work I have to present a lot. Can be high pressure as well, in terms of well, people can define what high pressure is, but I find it high pressure. And I guess it's being able to take a bit more control within these meeting rooms, being seen as someone who is a bit more authoritative in the answers which they're given. I guess I've always been, very technical minded, but now it is, as I'm starting to progress within this company, the meetings, I am being seen as the person who um, needs to make a few more decisions, and yeah. So how do I do that? I mean, I've done lots of previous stuff around public speaking, etc., but it's still this thing of creating this. Yeah, is it around? I guess it's not really around authority. Being, yeah, seen as someone can come to answers, making decisions, a bit more managerial, I guess. Um, yeah, that would be the overall aim, and then the goal would be that in meetings, in presentations, I feel like I am speaking up a bit more, taking a bit more control, steering perhaps the conversation even. That's often an important thing as well. Being able to do things like that, as opposed to just being, yeah, giving very technical answers and asking technical questions. Does that make sense?
Oh, well, push me back if I haven't got it right, but it sounds like there's three things here. There's one about the how you are and what you do in those type of meeting environments. So you're responding in a more, your words, managerial as opposed to technical way. Uh,
Yeah,
then there's this one here about how you might feel internally and the messages you're saying to yourself and all of the internal narratives you've got going on.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and then and then the response, how people are responding to you and how they see you as, is it you saying like the go-to person for this type of stuff?
yeah. That's all very, very good. I mean, yeah. So at the moment, I've started off, I've always been the technical person, and now as I'm moving through my career within my company, yeah, I'm now getting a bit more senior and is, need to be seen as more managerial, the go-to person for questions, who's, a bit more of a thought leader. Yeah, my internal narrative is definitely not there yet. My internal narrative is definitely within meetings. Um, yeah, not still don't really want to take charge within the meetings. Um, and then what was the last one around? Last one was
Last one
around.
is it's about how people respond to you and how they see you and how they interact with you because of how you're being.
Yeah, I think so because I feel like I'm definitely a place, yeah, where I do have the answers. I've been there long enough, but it's just about vocalizing them and getting them out in a way that people take on board and want to take action on, basically. So yeah, those
Okay.
3 points are good.
Okay. So if let's fast forward 3 months and 6 months perhaps, and we've had some coaching sessions, but also you've been doing this work yourself on these areas. Um, what would good look like? What would success look like for you from those areas?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'll have a chance. I'll get many chances to have meetings at work with very senior figures, just um, speaking a bit more, giving more of my opinions, even challenging some opinions which might come from very senior figures. Um, when I think it's wrong, putting even outside of meetings, like just being more proactive in leading conversations and ideas within the company, which I think would help everyone. Um, but just being, yeah, a bit more, I guess, out there within the company to lead some of these ideas. I think, yeah, if I could, I think I would know I've improved that then if, yeah, 3, 6 months down the line, I'm starting to do those things. And people are, yeah, starting to notice that as well.
So it's outside of just those meeting environments. You were saying that it's working well if you're getting those interactions with people at other times of the week or other places in the building.
Yeah, of course. There's very specific things around meetings which I have to do. Yeah, with senior figures where I'm not speaking up enough. But it's also, it can be outside of that. Yeah, there's lots of, I mean, the backstory to this is, yeah, I'm sort of starting in a new role within the company. And we, one thing we will need to do is to communicate effectively to all different teams what we're doing, why it's important, how we can help.
Yes.
And so that's going to be, yeah, chatting to lots of different teams, and then just giving them confidence as well that we can do it. It can be useful,
Yeah.
um, and that would be good for everyone,
Yeah.
including me,
Yes.
if that could happen.
So wins all round. Okay. So
Right.
and for you to achieve this and to talk about this as an area to focus on, what's important to you about achieving this particular goal of the many goals I'm sure you could have in your job?
Yeah, but this one, I guess it's something I've been slowly working on. In the background, I do Toastmasters, which is for public speaking. And that was really just the start of, having a massive fear of just even public speaking at all.
Yeah.
And that's been like, 2, 3 years of doing that. I feel the confidence has built up. Um, and now just being able to use those skills, um, yeah, more effectively. I think it's also the stage of, yeah, where I'm getting in my career as well. It's there's only so, yeah, the technical work I still have lots to improve on, but this has always been said
Yes.
in a lot of companies I've worked on. I need to improve on, and I feel like now I'm at a point where I think I can because I've done enough background work with Toastmasters, improving my confidence where I feel like I can do that now. But it's just, yeah, knowing how to make that next step.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
it's easy for, yeah, someone to say that, but actually doing it in reality, yeah, would be nice. So that's why it'd be important because it's, yeah, something, yeah, I've always thought I'd want to be able to do, but never really thought I'd have the skills. But now I'm hopefully getting there on a few of those background skills. So
Right, and thank you for sharing that. I mean, I do quite like to ask the next question of like why now? But I wanted to check in with you because you've said you've seen the growth and development through your Toastmasters experience, and you feel a bit more ready. Is that why now, or are there any other reasons for why taking this on now?
yeah, I think it is mostly that Toastmasters plus this new role, this new job where um it's we are going to have to start being a voice
Yeah.
if we want to start getting people to notice, and understanding what we do. It can't just be a technical role where I just sit in the background and crunch numbers, which I've been doing for a very long time. So it's mostly those are the two main reasons. Yeah.
Okay, so the numbers are
Or,
all the numbers are all crunched, so you can move into the personal stuff now.
exactly.
Good, fab, fab. All right, last question on your goals, and then we'll move on a bit if that's okay. I'm thinking about these next to 3 to 6 months, or even after that. If this requires a bit of effort and requires some change and some focused concentration, how much energy have you got to put towards this in amongst everything else you have to do at work and in your life?
Well, I'm having a baby, Charlie, in 2 months' time, so my energy levels for a certain amount of period might be a little bit low. But having said that, I think one thing I've learned with Toastmasters again is it's a very regular thing. It's booked in. It's a Monday evening. It's every 2 weeks. Um, I am a big believer that, yeah, just these small gains can be made if you just stick at it.
Yeah.
a few hours a week, but just consistently, as opposed to trying to do it all in one day and nothing changes and then you give up.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, I definitely have a lot of energy for it. I'm very excited about this new role at my company. It's probably something, yeah, definitely something I've been looking to get into. I've been trying to get into ever since I was like 21, basically, and I'm 38 now. So that took me 17 years, but eventually I got there. Um, so yeah, I definitely have a lot of drive to want to do this, basically.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing all of those things. So, um, that's like the end of the first stage. We won't carry on talking about your goals, and I get all of your enthusiasm about it. So, are you okay if we just park that bit and we'll come back to it when we have our next full coaching session? Is
Sounds
that okay?
good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, let's talk a little bit about then how we're going to work together. I mean, we've done a lot of work together, mentoring and various stuff in our Toastmasters. So there will be a different vibe to how we're going to work. And the biggest thing you'll notice is there isn't going to be any advice or any guidance or any tips. I keep that out of the coaching environment completely. And I don't know your role, and nor do I know the insides of your head. So that's not going to be happening. Is that okay with you? You're right with that?
yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Fab, 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 fab. And the other thing you'll notice, I think, in comparison with our mentoring, is mostly I won't be doing any talking. I'll be listening like I've done today. I'll listen and I'll ask some questions. And that means it's all on you all the time, and all the thinking is going to be on you, which means you will notice things like questions focused about you. You'll notice pauses, when I'm quiet and silent. It's not because anything's wrong. I'm just giving you a lot of thinking time. So, how do you think that might feel for you, knowing that this is you, it's your time to flow and just to talk, and I'm just here to ask questions?
that sounds great. And yeah, I'm happy to um, yeah, think through it about how to get to this next stage with your guidance. It sounds great.
Fab, fab, fab. And to be clear, the guidance would only come in the form of hopefully a helpful question, a question that would
Yeah,
shove you
yeah.
in the right way. Okay. Then one of the things that people talk about, and I'm not sure if this is the right word, but some people use the word challenge. I think I think about like a stretch or a nudge or like an extension of your thinking. So I think coaching is quite challenging anyway, because like you say, you can't halfway through, you can't start asking me how my week's been. We're going to keep the spotlight on you. Um, how do you feel that on top of that, a bit of extra stretch or nudge, trying to help you, get beyond your current thinking to some new thinking?
Yeah, I'm absolutely okay with that. I'm absolutely with pushing my thought processes and my perceived boundaries and seeing where that can lead. Very, very, very happy with that.
And what do you think that would mean to you? What do you think it means to you to be stretched in that way?
To be stretched, I guess it's, probably coming up against your own shortfalls and realizing them and talking through them yourself
Yeah.
and accepting them. And then a bit of self-reflection can be good. And then working out ways to move past them in a realistic way. And I guess, as you say, I know myself. I should know myself the best. So being able to work out why are these sticking points seems very interesting, Charlie.
Cool. And do you do much of this like yourself? Do you do much of that, like push yourself on, stretch stuff? Uh, Notwithstanding Toastmasters, which I think anyone who walked through a Toastmasters door is doing that, aren't they?
Do you mean in terms of do you mean stepping out my comfort
Yeah,
zone?
yeah, I suppose it's that sort of language, isn't it? Yeah, that intensity about it all.
I think I do that. Yeah, Toastmasters again, very good example. That's a fear which I have, and for some reason I choose to go and enable that fear every fortnight.
Every fortnight.
But it's worked and it helps to reduce it.
Yeah,
I am very big on personal growth. To be fair,
yeah,
I have read many books, and I'm always trying to improve my mind and get it to better and better places. So yeah, I'm very open to this idea of doing this.
Right, fab. Well, thank you, and I'm really pleased, and I'm really pleased, and I get that we've worked a lot together, and the type of ways we converse, I think I've always thought it's been pretty informal. Are you okay with that? Should we just carry on working the way we've worked, or is there anything different we need to do?
I think informal's good. I like that way.
Cool, cool. Okay. So a couple of things that might be a bit new for you in coaching, often at the end of a session, as a coach, you'll come up with some ideas and some actions, and probably there will be some tangibles, but also maybe some reflective ones. Um, and then when we come back to the next session, I'll invite you if you want to review those actions. Um, in the interim, do you want me to check in on you? Do you want me to give you a nudge, or do you think that actually you write them down and you'll just crack on and do them? You don't need any reminders or any prompts. Like, where are you at with that?
Um, I guess it depends how long the interval's been. I probably would just get on with it and do it, but a very simple nudge
Yeah.
would be fine as well. Just checking in. Um, and yeah, if work can be busy, babies can be busy, but I do think you can always find time somewhere. So it's nice to have a quick nudge every now and again. It doesn't have to be a long phone call. Like, come on, Ryan, what are you doing? Get on with this. Just checking in. How are you getting on? Have you made progress?
So a simple like nudge, not a recorded letter, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's fine. Fine. And then the other thing is when we come back and we talk about your actions, and maybe some of them you've blitzed through and you're really happy, but some you've hit an obstacle or a barrier. How should we deal with that? I'm not going to turn into like your line manager or your mum, but how should we handle that if actually you didn't manage to get through your actions?
I think that's the main thing to dig into, isn't it? If I've created an action which, yeah, I guess I want to do, which I think will improve me and will get me towards this goal which I've created, and I've hit some obstacles. Maybe, yeah, I need to work out. There's more depth there to go into. Yeah, I'm more than happy for that to be there, as opposed to focusing on the stuff which I've done great. Um, it'd be nice to say, you've done a couple of things great, well done, but let's move on to not all just the obstacles I've hit.
Okay.
um, but yeah, no, that's like the key part to dig into.
Okay. And if we made some progress in that, if like, okay, you hit the obstacle, we didn't do it, but we had a really rich 10 minutes and you could see, oh yeah, it's that got in the way. What do you think that would mean to you in terms of your development in all of this?
I think that'd be amazing. I think, yeah, if we could hit on a gold mine on yeah, something which I've just somehow stayed hidden, but by doing these actions I've managed to put it out. I think that'd be amazing. It'd be, yeah,
So we could have a
really.
tactic. We could have a tactic, couldn't we? Of you deliberately not doing an action, coming in, right? We can have some learning from not doing the action, and we can have the light bulb moments, right? Brilliant. Perfect.
Different ways.
In different way, different approach, not standard. All right, okay. Um, and so I mean, what I've tried to do here with a few questions is just give you an impression of how the session will go, but also give you a bit of autonomy, a bit of choice about how we can organize some of these things. Is there anything else for you? Anything I haven't covered to think about how how you would want this to work? We'll still meet online and we'll have 30 to 60-minute conversations. Anything else you need?
No, I think this sounds good. I guess, I mean, this will be part of it, right? I do sort of need to track as well. So if I do something, I hit an obstacle, and then we don't talk for a month or two, and I've sort of forgotten the intricacies of why I failed. Um, yeah, I guess I need to keep track on stuff, right, to make sure that I'm jotting this down and journaling as in going along? Is that best practice?
Lots of people don't, but lots of people do. And I think I mean, I think everyone writes down their actions if they want to get
Yeah,
it done. But also, I think lots of people write down their reflections, their learnings and their notes. We're trying not to have a 2 month gap, but as you said, you're having a baby quite soon, so you never know. It might extend. We try and get it every 2, 3, 4 weeks, something of that nature. But you're right; it's good to note those things down.
nice. No, that sounds good.
Fab, fab. A couple of technical things. This is just you and me. There are no sponsors. There's no line manager. There's no third party to report back to you. And apart from safeguarding, this remains mostly completely confidential. We are posting on YouTube, so not that confidential, but generally, coaching remains. It's like a private, confidential thing. And actually, if we decide or you decide this needs to be not posted, we don't have to post any sessions online. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine. And this is why. I mean, yeah, this sounds great. This is why I liked mentoring from you. I like Toastmasters. It is outside of work, um, and yeah, you can remove all of the noise and stress and fear, and just really concentrate on improving outside of that realm, which ultimately will hopefully help me within that realm.
Yes.
But I find that, yeah, incredibly useful to do it outside of that. So
Right.
um,
And I'm really pleased about that because you're right. This is like a combination of professional and personal development, isn't it? And you take as much as you want back into work and as much as you want back into your own development. Okay. So we're coming towards the end. We'll email a bit and organize our dates for our next session, and we can talk in afterwards about whether it's okay to upload this recording. But if we go back and think about what we've talked about today, talking about
yeah.
your goals, but also talking about how we're going to work together and that little definition of coaching, what's been useful learning to you generally from today?
Generally from today is understanding what coaching is. I didn't know it would be more on my side, more of my reflections, me creating actions. That's, yeah, very interesting way of doing things. And yeah, learning about that is very important. Like I said, I've done mentoring, and yeah, I didn't really know the difference, so it's very good to know the difference, um, and to talk through just briefly. But yeah, what I'm trying to do, what my goals are, uh, why now. It's all very useful stuff to get me thinking. Um, And yeah, I think it was very nice the way you explained. Yeah, give me a bit of a choice on how we deal with obstacles. Yeah, everyone can be different. So it's, yeah, that giving that choice is definitely very, very good. It makes me feel comfortable. Yeah, being in a coaching session and moving forward and improving.
Good. Well, thank you for that. And you described really well some of those technical things we've done. And what about you? Final question. What have you learned about yourself by, I know we only had a few minutes on you, but starting to talk about this important thing, what observations or reflections have you got about yourself?
Um, I guess I hadn't thought through the good one. Question was just why now? Actually, I hadn't even given too much thought to it, and it is true that, yeah, I, I've done lots of stuff in the background. It's something that has been mentioned to me in all my jobs, but I never really felt like I could do this goal, which I'm trying to set. Yeah, so that's interesting to know. Yeah, it wasn't just about this new job internally. It was also, I feel like I do have these tools which are there now, so I can hopefully get to that next. So that was interesting. That was interesting.
Well, fab. Well, thank you. And as we come out of this session, finish it, how are you feeling now?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, I'm feeling excited.
Good. Good.
Looking forward to the next session.
And me too. And I really am because we've done loads of other things together, haven't we? So actually having this new and different way of working for both of us, I think it'd be really interesting new territory. So Ryan, thank you so much. Thanks for getting stuck
Yeah,
in and enjoy the rest of your day.
yeah. Thank you, Charlie.